Okay, this is the second tutorial for Small Basic. We're going to introduce a new topic called a for loop. For loop is a way of repeating something a set number of times that we already know how many times we want to carry it out. This is called iteration. So our main goals for today: be able to use a end for loop to repeat a series of instructions several times, and we're going to use it to draw shapes using these. So what we need to do is basically get Small Basic up. So as we know, we can actually draw a square by using these instructions: turtle.move 100, turtle.turn right. And if you repeat that 4 times, we can draw a square. So if we get Small Basic open, so Start, All Programs, Curriculum, ICT and Business, Microsoft Small Basic, and once it's open, remember the first thing we need to do is save the program. I'm going to save as, and I'm going to go into my documents, my folder, and we're on lesson 2 here because these are the ones we copied from last time, and I'm just going to make a new folder called example, and let's call this, remember we've always got to call the file test app with no spaces. Every time we start a new exercise or activity, we're going to give it a new, need to make a new folder and call it test app. So I'm going to save that. Now I'm just going to put in the code like last week. Turtle.move, remember you can use the tab key or enter to finish off the line. Turtle dot, I want angle, I want to turn but right. Now remember that will do it 1 line. Now if I want to do it 4 times, as you can see, I'll just break these up nicely. We've got the program running there. Remember it's saved as test app. If it's not saved as test app, it's going to crash. So I'll run it and I get my square. 1, 2, 3 and 4 sides. But what we notice here is there's a bit of repetition. This code is the same as this is the same as this is the same as this. So we can remove some of those patterns. And we do this by using a for loop. So what we can do is add in some extra code. We've got here this idea. I is like a counter. It's the position where we want to start with. So we start with 1 and we want to count to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times because we've got the 4 sides. And we put the code inside it. Now all we need to do, I'm going to delete the rest of this code. So I have 4, I is equal to 1, 2, 4. So that's the 4 is what's called an upper boundary. I'm going to tab these in just so it makes it a bit nicer to look at. And we have end for. And that finishes our code. And I can run this. And if we note the program, it goes and does it over and over. If I got it wrong and only did 2 sides, I'd only get half of the square. And then it would stop. Now, what you might want to do is put a little apostrophe, and then you can use that to put comments. Loop to make the sides. And if we do that, we get our whole loop. And that comment just makes it easier to understand. So that covers the basics of the for loop. Obviously there are different shapes which you can do. So you might want to use the turn just to do different degrees, and then that way you can create a large number of different shapes. So work through the examples, the square, hexagon, and then some of the other programs. We can also decide where we're going to start, which is a new little concept, but these are fairly sort of clear, so you can just tell the turtle at the start of the program to move to a certain location. X. Remember, if it's got the little color palette, that means it's a variable, so we use an equal to set it to something. So the X and Y coordinates. Now when I run this, it jumps the turtle right to a certain position to start with. Obviously, key thing here, make sure you know how many times you want to repeat the loop. As long as you know that, it's all going to work fine.